Hi everybody, welcome to episode 43. 43, yeah, 43. A little bit later in the week. Couple of reasons for that. One is, as Marvin said at the back in the last video, he's currently in America doing a little bit of business, so I'm going to try across there. Can Phantoms really took off very, very well, going really, really good. So there is a possibility that we can maybe, become Team Valley MOT International. Yeah, to rival the trotters. So, yeah, so it's Wednesday night, 6:10. There's not a lot going on in the workshop. If you want to have a spin around it and have a look, it is a little bit quiet, and that's simply because it's towards the end of the day. But again, we're having a busy day, so I'll show you what's going on, or what's currently going on, and then I'll show you what's in the car park, which is from here. So starting with this one, clean camper, very clean for its age. You tend to find they are because although I think it's an 09 registration, it is fairly low mileage for its age because it's a camper and it doesn't get used for everyday use. So it was in this morning for an MOT test, but unfortunately it's failed the MOT on the headlights. So what's happening is that after a short period of time, the headlights are just switching themselves off. There's a body control module here, even though it's a slightly older vehicle. We've still got, this was when they started the body control modules. There's a body control module in there, it's a fuse board, but does a lot more, but it's got a fault on that. So the headlights go from the store rather than straight to the lights, so the body control module and then down to the headlights, and that's got a fault on it. The difficulty with this is the age of the van, and it's going to be getting hold of the parts. We know that already, so we might have to come up with another solution for that one. So that one's going to be probably a few days, unfortunately. So that's that one. Josh has just pulled the air windows van out there. That's been it today. Handbrake not working. Again, I say this quite a lot. Needed rear shoes and a parking brake cable. Something which the Sprinter suffer for. Anybody that looks at the Sprinters will know that. But I was just going to go on road test, and then we'll get delivered around the corner to air windows to get that one finished up. This one has had a bit of work done with it. So we've done the service on it. It also had front brake pads, and the other thing was it was suffering from an oil leak. So again, if you want to come in it, it's been suffering from an oil leak on this side of the V, or this side, this V of the engine. Rock cover gasket's been leaking. We do a few of these, like you've probably heard us say a lot. We do a lot of the rock cover gaskets. It's the rocker cover and the manifold in one, so that's now back. The new one's on. Michael's just in the process of putting that one back together, but even to do a gasket's a hell of a job. There is quite a lot of work involved in it. It's also had two front wheel bearings, so again, we talk about repetitive service. You can from the rocker cover gasket or the inlet manifold, a couple of front wheel bearings and brake pads, which they also have from one of the mill stuff. Like I see, that one's going back together. We're a little bit behind with it because we've had a couple of snags with it, just with the age of the vehicle. You get another slightly older vehicle, but it's clean for its age. So we've had a couple of problems with that, a couple of snap bolts and what have you, but that's done now. This one, if you remember, was in the corner of the car park, and we looked at this one last week. So this one's suffering from low compression on cylinder 1. The customer, we went to the customer and gave him his options. He was going to try a couple of things, maybe try to part exchange it, etc. But not a lot of people would touch it or would give him any sort of idea as to what it would be. And I think even the ones that quoted on the price, they were very out towards the low side. So we've got the cylinder head off, as you can see. But what we need to do now is we'll have to drop the sump off and get the pistons out. There's nothing to see on the cylinder head. The cylinder head's fine. The gasket's fine, as you can see. It's only done 13,000 miles. So there's something going on either on the piston side of things or the bottom end, but we'll get them out and then hopefully we'll be able to come to the diagnosis. I just hope with that one, I just really hope for this customer we can fix it, but time will tell once we get them fixed. I'm not going to get in the corner here because the lads are busy on with this one. So again, if you remember this one, this is the one that came in as a non-start. We've replaced the parts that we need to, it's going back together. It's had 16 rockers in it, or with that. It's had a couple of pulleys, the time belt kit, the chain kit as well, but it's going back together. So I'm not going to get out there and bother them because there's a bit going on with it. They are trying to put that back together, so that one's going back together as we speak. So hopefully with that one, if we can get that to a state tonight, because Andy's off for the next couple of days and a couple of days holiday. So we'll try and get that up and running, and then hopefully that one's not far away. In the car park, as I say, this is some of the work which has been ongoing, and also from today. So this one was the Mini which you saw a couple of times last week. I think it was on one of the ramps, and again we did. So this one's been done today. Customer gave us the authorisation a day or two ago. Was done today, and it has the timing was out of it. So that one's had a time and chain kit, an oil change and oil service. It's had a couple of. It's also got a couple of sensors. What we found was with the sensors, they were because the time was out. It had marked the sensors a bit. So what we weren't sure if the sensors were, but we replaced them as part of the repair. And again, it's really just to make sure that the car's ready before it goes back to the customer. It'll get test driven. I'll probably drive that night. As I've said a lot, and again, I think somebody's mentioned a couple of times. So, as regards the test drive that we do on them, what we'll always say is just to reaffirm what we mean by the test drive. If a car gets a repair like this, like an engine repair, or like the Signia, or you can see the Astras and bits there. If it's a routine service or a set of brakes, perhaps things like that, the car will, or the van, whatever it will be, will get test driven. But that test drive will be, I want to say, a short test drive, 2-3 miles. Make sure everything beds in, the oil level's correct, there's no brake squeal, etc. Things like that. What we'll try and do with this is, though, obviously during the repair we've had quite a lot off this engine, and you saw there's quite a lot off that Astra in there. And it's nothing, it's nothing that no other garage does, but the reason we do afterwards is that we do quite a few miles is simply to make sure that everything beds in, or we give it as much opportunity as we can that everything beds in before it goes back to the customer. And that's the reason why we're doing. We're not, if we don't do things unnecessarily, we won't. So that's really just a, I think somebody mentioned that in the comments, and that's why we do the 20-30 miles, because what we don't want is it all comes back. Obviously, we don't want the inconvenience to the customer of having to come back if there's any snags, etc., that might potentially arise during the repair of this nature. So as I say, that one will get test driven, make sure it's right, and then hopefully that one should go back to the customer. I think we're a little bit ahead of schedule. Like we said, Friday for that one, so if we can get that back to the customer tomorrow, that would be brilliant. X5, we recovered this, picked this up yesterday. There's a fault on the steering lock, so we need to. It's in to be looked at tomorrow or Friday. Haven't got a great deal of information on that one for you as of yet, simply because we haven't looked at it yet. But there is a fault on the steering lock. There's a few known causes on BMWs. Hopefully it'll be one of them. So we'll have a look at it though, and see what it is. This one here is pretty much the same as that one. Again, timing problems, timing faults, noisy engine operation. So that one, we've diagnosed that one as pretty much the same as that one. That one's authorised, just really ready to go through the workshop. Because of our workload, we're getting tight time with the bank holiday weekend. We will get on that one as soon as possible. But realistically, it's probably going to be Tuesday before we do that one. The infamous modern milkman vehicle, authorised now, just waiting for parts. Yeah, so we know what's happening with that. This one's a very, very nice. It's one of the new BMWs 2 Series, I think, M Sport. Unfortunately, not very old, but the customer's damaged a couple of alloy wheels, so we've had them repaired for the customer. It's now done. That'll get collected tomorrow. Really easy one, that. This one came in today it's a customer through WeBuy, who we do a lot of work for them. The Golf GT, very clean for its age, 88,000 miles on a 61 registration. The lad's looking after it, but he's complaining of a lack of power on that one. That one might be a little bit tricky because he's even said himself that there's no warning lights He's not getting any other symptoms than that. It's suffering from a lack of power as he goes to pull it away. However, it is a DSG box as well, but we'll get stuck in that one. That's in the dairy for tomorrow, and hopefully see what's going on with it. We'll get that one sorted. Vehicle's done, ready to go back to the customer. This one is been in for, I think this was in a couple of weeks ago, and the customer was mentioning a little bit of black smoke. But again, we've regenerated again and done that over the last couple of days. But the problem we're suffering with this one again, maybe it's a little bit like that one where your struggle is, there's not a great deal of fault codes to go on. You know, it is the car's not telling us and helping us a lot. So when you get that, you do struggle. But again, we've tried we've regenerated again. We've also, with this one, we've got two types of you might hear us talk about power clean. There's two types of power cleans we do. There's a direct power clean, whereby we direct it directly into the DPF filter. The other one we can do is an indirect power clean, and it really is literally two additives that go into the fuel tank. Now, we don't really think they need at the minute, because with a power clean, what you look at is you look at your soot contents, you look at your ash contents, you look at your DPF pressures, etc. before and after, and they all seem relatively good within tolerance for what the manufacturer recommends. So the other one is that it's an indirect power clean which you put into fuel, which is not as, it doesn't work as quickly as the power clean treatment that we do direct in the DPF. So we've put that into it in an attempt just to see if we can make it run a bit better. But again, no reason for it other than we're not really getting a great deal of feedback from the car to give us any indication why it may be doing it. However, we'll try that, and then obviously if that doesn't work, we'll move on and try something else. This one's waiting to go back through the workshop. It was in last Friday, I think it was on the video on Friday. The car's suffering from pressurising the cooling system. Also, there was a problem with the heating system, whereby it just wasn't circulating properly. So we've tried a thermostat on it, and that hasn't fixed it. So we've done a little bit more investigatory work. We believe it might have a problem on the cylinder head gasket. So the customer's authorised us to remove the cylinder head on that one. So that'll be done next Tuesday. It's back in the dairy on Tuesday to get the head off it. Then we'll have a clearer picture of what's going on with that one. This one was recorded by the RAC yesterday. Coolant leak, and it's also got an anti-pollution fault on the dashboard. But again, that one might have a little bit of a heads up, a little bit of a clue, because the customer's had it somewhere else, and it's shown an injector fault. They've swapped the injectors over and it's changed cylinders. So we'll just really confirm that it is the injector on that, and then that with that. But it's got a leaking radiator. RAC attended yesterday. They said that the radiator's leaking on it. So we just really want to make sure the code that's in there is the same as the one the last garage looked at, and it's the injector. If it is, we'll cost it up. Hopefully get that done over the next couple of days. Get them back on the road, hopefully, with it being a taxi for the bank holiday weekend. We know what's happening with that. We're still just waiting for that to kick up. Waiting for parts for the Defender. Hopefully there's some modified parts we've got coming for the flaps here. If we can get them, we're hoping that's the end of the problems with that one. But again, we'll not know, because Craig, I think we said every day last week, we found one, he plugged that, found another one, plugged that, found another one, plugged that. So yeah, so but the parts, I think they arrived yesterday, so we're just waiting for Paul to get on with that one. Smart IT is authorised. As you know about that one, that's the one that was the one that wanted the timing chain, etc. So that's back in the dairy. Authorised that a couple of days ago. We'll get on with that one. So that's that. Little Corsa, run-of-the-mill stuff. Really easy. This was in for an MOT today. It failed, unfortunately, on a coil spring, so it's had the coil springs replaced. That just needs a retest, and then that'll go back to the customer tomorrow. Getting a bit late in the day. And this one, we've looked after this one. Nice car for its age. The the last time or the time before it was in, the customer asked us to have a look at the power steering leak potential on it. We cleaned it off then, and then we brought it back in yesterday to see if we can just find out where it is. There's a pipe which goes from the power steering reservoir, the pump, then from the pump down to the top of the steering rack. The rubbers, again with it just down to the edge, the rubbers perished on that and it's split, so it needs a pipe on. The difficulty with that may be the edge of the car. As I said, with a camper inside, there's a possibility we might not be able to get the parts for it. Hopefully we can, but we'll know tomorrow. Chris, our supplier, is looking at that, and we'll know tomorrow. Moving on, ambulance. This one, it's been a bit of a bizarre, this one. I've seen it a few times over there, again with the Golf and the Discovery. This one we know has had a fault on. You always think that, you know, a customer wouldn't keep on bringing their car back or the van back if they had a fault on. But sometimes what happens in the garage industry, like, and everybody suffers from this, we have over the years, and everybody does. It just doesn't start every now and again, and it's took us probably 3 or 4 visits, really, just to get the bottom of it. So thankfully, eventually, it's faulted on port today 3 times, but it's the starter motor. Again, if you remember this, you know, these vehicles, they stop-start quite a lot, and they're more than a regular vehicle. So it is a starter motor. So we've got a starter motor on its way. We'll hopefully get that tomorrow, and then get the starter fitted to it. We'll probably keep it again after that, just to make sure it's all right, and not release it straight back to St John's, and then hopefully that fixes it, fixes the bottom off. Maserati, we know about, that's ready to go back to customer. We've talked about that, and obviously that's our green vehicle of death. This one is it's an old Sprinter. It's suffering from poor starting, but only when hot. So again, one of the difficulties with this is that it's the edge of the vehicle. We can't get our software to talk to it because of the edge of it. But one thing we have found is that it's got a blow past one of the injectors. So it's the old adage is that, you know, if you can't get any fault codes, the vehicle doesn't help you fix what's broken. Now, in this case it is blown past the injector, so we'll get the injector out hopefully tomorrow or Friday. We're desperate to get the vehicle back on the road for the gentleman for the weekend. Get the injector resealed, see what it starts like from then, and if it does start, you know, or if it's fine, again we'll probably give a result back to the customer and ask him to try it and just feedback with us how we get some of it. Yeah. Nice Range Rover Sport, this one. The customer complained of what they described as a noise in the rear, and then also a couple of times it came up with a suspension warning and hill assist warning on the display. We've had another look at it because Monday and Tuesday the car was faultless, it was absolutely fine. We test drove it. And then Tuesday night, last night, I went to pull in the workshop because we always put these away. The fault was on, but then we've come to pull it out this morning, the fault's gone off again. So we're just going back and forwards a little bit with that one, just trying to really see what's going on with it. But we're hoping the fault will come back on, and then we can, because the problem is when the fault disappears, there's no fault codes. You know, so probably shot ourselves in the foot last night. We probably should have did a code read on it last night. However, we felt certain it would have been on this morning. However, it's not. But we'll get the bottom of that one. Porsche Cayman. This one's in for tomorrow. Again, being dropped off early by the customer because it's more convenient for them. Diagnosis check for tomorrow, so haven't got an update on that one for you as of yet. Volvo. It's got an oil leak from the vacuum pump. The gentleman's from down south, he's working up here, and what's happened with this one is there's a modified kit. I don't know what it entails. He's had a modified kit fitted by either a Volvo dealer or from the Volvo dealer from Volvo, but it looks like it's failed again. So we've set them up. Your best course of action is to put a complete vacuum pump on it. That's all that'll be here tomorrow, and we'll get that done. But he's like I say, he's from down south, so there's not a massive panic for that, albeit it needs to be done because he's going to get a lift off his travelling partner or his work partner. Go down south and then he'll probably pick it up Tuesday once it's done. Yeah, so relatively easy job that. Just early from the back of the pump. That I think is that everything, Ed? I think that's everything on there. Yeah, that's the lot.
Like, share, subscribe.
Yeah, I think so. Thank you everybody again. Sorry, like I say, I haven't got a great deal of footage this week. Just it's going to be a strange couple of weeks. What Marvin being across there, I'm off next week, so as well. So we might be a little bit mixed up, and I might be a little bit short on footage. But it goes out saying thank you everybody. Just the usual stuff. Please like, share, subscribe. Yeah, and with that, Ed's got a massive grin on his face. If you go on our YouTube channel, you'll see the magic numbers gone. So Marvin did think it would, and it has happened. So while he's away, we've hit the magic 10,000 subscribers. So some lucky person is going to be the proud owner of the Fiat Panda. So it'll probably not be for the next week or two, but we will make that happen. We will get the car up, get it prepped, etc. and things like that. And then hopefully within the next few weeks, it's going to be a week or two obviously, we'll get that all up and running, and we'll get that car to whoever the lucky owner or the lucky new owner is going to be over the next couple of weeks. But thank you to everybody. We've now smashed the 10,000 subscribers. Please keep on subscribing. You know, hopefully you're still enjoying the content. We certainly are. Like I said, I feel a bit lost today. I feel a little bit run of the mill because, like I say, my sparring partner's not here. But hopefully, you know, you can see really busy. So thank you to everybody. And then we'll get a little bit. Hopefully tomorrow. Are you on site tomorrow? Yeah. Yep. So Ed's back tomorrow. So a little bit more routine. We'll get a little bit. We'll hopefully speak to you as you find people tomorrow. Good night, everybody. Thank you. And then, right then, are you recording? Oh, I didn't realise. I was going to give me a big intro. A bit late with a foot stamp, weren't you? Yeah. There's Jimmy. Pretend he's busy on the phone. He actually rang himself there, you know, how his phone ring on his desk. Oh, there we go. Yes. Can I help?
The motorbike racing sprinter.
Yes.
Asking for an update.
Oh, I did see it on that. We'll try our best to get it done for the weekend for him.
Right, he needs it for Friday.
I know. There's a bit of space in Derry tomorrow, so tell him it'll get priority over the next couple of days. Right. That's as much as we can promise him, Jim. You know what's going on here? Marvin! Oh, he's not there. No, that's up next second. How are they, let's go. Right. So we decided to do a little bit earlier today because I think when we do it for night time, there's really a great deal going on. But as you can see, Ed, work up busy, a lot going on. So we've got Andy up on the ladders there. I think these are the new good gears. Very good gear. So we're on the list of. I mean, a lot of the equipment I think Marvin put in when he first opened up. But you know, it's like everything else. You like to keep up with the times and upgrade. We're putting better airlines and whatever up because they've got a better door, a better bore. Sorry, with that. We also just obviously make life easy for the tech, so we've got the wheels as well, the extension wheels. We've got water in all of the ramps now, you know, so I think it's like everything else, you like to try and minimise downtime. We've spent a lot of time over the last couple of days with Garage Hive. I wish I'd had time to do that, but we're just updating the dealer management system to make sure that not to try and get that process quicker as well. Just updating everything, trying to get everything a little bit smoother, a little bit more modern. The equipment's coming in. Just help the.
There's another one over there, isn't there?
Yeah. So you can see. I mean, we've got one there. There's one there. There's one going to be a pretty much heavy ramp. I think as Marvin explained, you can see the older one, which I'll show you as we go around the older ones. They're not working as well as used to because they're in and out all day, you know. So because of that, the springs start going, etc. So start with the work. What we've got to do here. Insignia's back together. You saw that one last night. That one is on charge at the minute. Literally the battery is the proverbial fat as a pancake, so we can't do anything with that. So we've got a battery on charge, we want a decent battery charge in that, and then we're going to try and start that later on today. As you can see, it's back together. That one there, you know, we're still in the midst of will it start or won't, but we'll know once we get to try later on. The 5th Avenue Forest van, that's had the glow plug in now, that's done. It just needs putting back together, so we'll do that. We had a couple of bits of problems, so again, you will not be able to see a great deal, but the glow plugs are like underneath this part of the cylinder head, if you like. If it was number one, it's really quite easy to get into, but with 2, 3 and 4 are a bit of a pain in the backside. So you can see here, this is all back together, but we had this right forward to get into there. So that's back together. This one's in for service and MOT, low mileage Ford Focus, clean car, but we're just starting that one, so I can't really give you an update on that one, although I'd say it's just about to start there. Josh is logging that on for the MOT test now. If we do a service, get that done, and then we'll take it from there. So not a great deal to tell you about that. Audi, so this one is, this one was in the other day. We did some repair work on it. The customer with this one, it's his second car he's had with us. The other one was a little bit old and it wanted a lot of repair work, so he sold that and bought a new one. So that one is now, and again he's starting off right on the, I mean, is that right way or wrong way, but it's right on the right tracks. Because he hasn't had it very long, he's getting it serviced up to date. He's getting the CV change transmission done. That one getting done this afternoon. It had the brakes done the last time. And a couple of other jobs, so he's starting off on the right foot to get that one and keep it right, of course. Yeah, so that's that one. This one's following on from yesterday. We have got a bit of a problem on this one. So when we've come to put it back together, it's for to do the rock cover gasket or the inlet manifold is the both one and both the same. Unfortunately, we have to take it apart again because where the injectors go through the middle of the cylinder head, it snapped one of the bolts. So we're again Paul's in the midst of what we'll have to do with that is we'll have to first of all take care, because as you can see there, it's direct either into the port where the injector goes, and also this is the 2 camshafts. Which so the first thing is, now that it's apart, we'll get it. I'm going to say cleaned up and get it just protected, because we're going to have to drill the snap bolt, helicoil it, so that we're going to secure the coil. Sorry, secure the injector on it. But that's in process, so we are a little bit behind with that one. Job was going really well, it was all back together, but literally Michael was doing his final talkings and it snapped the bolt. So that's gone sideways, that one, unfortunately. Not a great deal of progress on the Astra, although I tell you, after we had the cylinder head off yesterday, what we've done is, so a great test on cylinder heads and engines to see if you've got any. So one thing, I'll show you in a second. One thing to do is just to check for leakage. All you do is you fill either the piston, or I'll show you on the head in a minute, with just a solvent, petrol, degreaser, or brake clean. And then what you do is you just fill them all at the same level, leave them for a bit, and you see if any lowers. Now, on this, theoretically, you should have a seal, because that's, as we said earlier, the problem is this has got low compression, because we suspect there's a problem with that from there towards the bottom. I think more to do with the piston side of it. Now, what you should have is you should have a seal, because obviously you've got three rings normally on a piston. You've got your compression ring, your scraper ring, and then your oil control ring, in that order. So the compression ring should literally seal the cylinder, and that's how it gets compression. If this one, which this one is, it's losing the fluid, that indicates that it's going past the rings. So we could have I'm thinking maybe it's more piston ring orientated, because it's doing that. I mean, if it was a crack or anything like that, it probably wouldn't go away as quickly. But so we've really just confirmed that it's not the cylinder head. And as I said to you yesterday, that piston's got to come out. But you know what, we're just struggling for time a little bit at the moment to progress on a little bit further. We'll try and get it done over the next couple of days, so that we can just find out where we're at with the car before the weekend. And again, as I say, if you had a leaking valve, so again, if you look at the cylinder head, so what you have on this one, this is a multi-valve engine, which is a common setup, if you like, on more modern day engines. So what you have is it's 4 valves per cylinder. So what you have is your 2 inlet, 2 exhaust. And again, what you would do is, if you thought you had a leakage past the valves, you would just fill that to the top with fluid on all 4. You would leave it sit for a bit and see if there's any seepage, and that just tells you. Solvent's a good one, like petrol's really good, and it just tells you if it's going past. We've done that and they're fine, so we're happy with the cylinder head. It's more to do with the bottom of the engine there. So yeah, so we have made some progress, but not a show you on that one, unfortunately. Yeah, so that's that one. Nice Golf GTD. This one is a GTD. GTD, yeah. This one's in for batteries cable. So if you look here, is that the old one? That's the old one. So on VW Golfs, we've done about 3 of these now. What you have is you've got your handle inside the car to the cable. You've then got a cable comes underneath here, and then that there locks into there. Now what happens is either the cable seizes, or the bonnet catch seizes, something seizes somewhere, and the weakest part is always that bit there. So what happens is, if I was to show you the cable, on this one, where's the other side of the cable car? Yeah. So, yeah. So what you have is that slots into there, and then that comes over and locks it all together. But this, it's the old adage, it's the old, you know, as Anne used to say, what's the weakest link, and that cracks on them. So of course, then what happens is the ball cannot sit in there, and it just keeps on pulling out. It's not normally that. That's the problem. It's normally something to do with one of the cables will be a bit tight, or the other ones we've done. It's something to do with probably the bonnet latch. Now, as you can see on this one, it's a little bit rusty, I suppose, and things like that. So the possibility is there's a seizure in that, and obviously when you try to pull the cable, the weakest thing goes, which is that bit, and then it feels. So like I said, that's the third one we've done now. The pain in the backside with these is you just can't get the bonnet up. What you have to do is you have to release the bonnet safety latch from there, which is literally a quarter of a turn. I mean, Cam's been on about 65 hours releasing the bolts. Once you do that, it comes up, and then you can crack on with it. But I mean, it takes long to get the 2 bolts out to do the job. But it's part and parcel. You know, it is what it is. So as you can see, Callum's just putting everything together. New cables are in. We're joining underneath, glue everything up, make sure it works before we shut the bonnet again, of course. And then hopefully we're putting that one back together. So yeah, so again, that's quite common on the Mark 7s. So again, just a little bit, you know, people, you know, that you'd help yourself, regular maintenance. Obviously, because this gentleman's going to get a bill for to do this. Just make sure you open your bonnet now and again. If it goes in for a routine service, which we do, you know, lubricate, you know, ask them to make sure that they lubricate all the catches and whatever up. Because like I say, on them, it is common. That's the third one we've done. We've dealt with them too. Car park. What is going on? I think we talked about that one last night, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah, that was there. So parts arrived for that day. That's getting done tomorrow. The oil leak. That was the little Mini. As I said to you last night, that's been test driven now. That's good to go. That's driving really, really well. The repairs, we're happy with the repair on that. So we're waiting for the customer to come pick that up. The Range Rover. This one's been on a couple of our videos now. So with that one, S3 KVC. Still every time I look at that, I think what a smashing looking car. I mean, testament to the owner, he does look after it. The car's had a fault on the seat. So what was happening was the seat would move, and all of its, because it's an electric seat, the seat would move. I'll let it come through it. In all its positions, other than the back and forward one. And what's happened is that literally it's been a poor connection to the connector block underneath. So the problem then is that because it goes out to sync, because it's all controlled by control units, etc., it's been a bit of a bugger on. So we've had to have the battery off, and then we've had to use the Land Rover, Range Rover computer to set up the because what you have to set up the limits. Once we've done that, it's working fine. But we'll leave it for a little bit, just make sure that we're happy with everything before we take it back. If that works, good to go. We'll get it delivered back to get it back to the customer this afternoon. Yeah, and we'll get that done. Yeah. Do like that. We knew about them. We talked about them yesterday. That one has got a fault on the back suspension. I don't know. I said yesterday with a fault on. There's something going on with it. Because when we moved it a couple of times yesterday, the back suspension's dropping. So that needs really looking into further. The problem with that one is here, which is the pain in the backside, if you like. The car's not telling us, it's not giving us any help. So, but we'll have to try and get the bottom of that one. You come across them every now and again. You know, look, the world would be great, and I wish I had a quid for, you know, for every. If I had a quid for every time something went wrong, I would have retired. because it's not that easy. Cars aren't easy, you know. I mean, the simplest of things, you know, it keeps on dropping at the back, keeps on putting the warning lights on, but there's no trouble codes. So with stuff like that, you really do struggle. You think, where do you start with that? Like a lot of garages, you know, we come across that as well. So, but you know, and I think if you look there now, it's probably leaning over to the near side a little bit as well. It's not level.
Yep.
Well, we're thinking maybe it's compressor or possibly a small air leak somewhere, which is affecting the suspension. It's possibly giving the suspension trick readings, and it's maybe trying to compensate. But tricky one, that one. But we'll get the bottom of that. We'll fix that. The ones along the back, we'll not do them yet because we talked about them yesterday. We're now what's going on with them. Again, little course, our routine service today. Couple of advisory on the MOT, and we fixed a puncture on one of the tyres for the fella as well. We don't normally fix punctures, but if we're doing it during a service and repair and it's an easy puncture, we will try and do that. Because the thing with punctures, you know, and that's some people think, well, why don't you fix punctures? The reality of it is, you know, for to fix punctures, by the time you pull it in, the gear to fix them, you know, you've got to have all the patches and what have you. It's just you know, it's quite time consuming, and the reason we don't like fixing punctures is because, I mean, I think, you know, again, I may be wrong on this, but it's about 25-30 quid for a puncture repair nowadays. You know, that's not the be all and end of all, but if we can, we will fix it, but we don't do a lot of punctures. You know, anyway, like I say, that. Range Rover, this one has a fault on, so it's got a fault on the hill descent control. So two predominant faults on the display. One is saying that it's saying fault when cornering or leaning, then it comes with HCC, and then it comes up with special functions not available. This one, there's 2 or 3 faults in there. We've put a ticket down to Logic, so just because there might be a couple of bulletins on that one, so we're just waiting to reply on that one to find out what the repair is for it. So again, yeah, that's that one. This one is for 2 things. There's a little bit. The customer suspects that the oil quality is not very good because it's very black. It doesn't look like it's been changed for a while. Also, the cooling fan runs pretty much all the time when the car started. So we've come to this afternoon. We've had a look at it earlier on. It's got a pressure tester on at the moment, just to see if there's any coolant leaks. So we'll start with the coolant leak, and that'll fix that. I think the other thing is probably with the BMW condition-based service on BMWs, of course. Maybe start with another change on that one, but we'll find out what the coolant leak is first before we go any further with it. We know about all of them. With that one, again, we talked about that one last night. It needs a pipe on. We've got the price and availability of that back now. We just need to speak to the customer. And the last one is, yeah, we know what that one is. Yeah, these are on the board here. Is this one little DS3? So need to speak to the customer on this one because they booked it in yesterday with a fault whereby or showed oil pressure low on the display. So again, you know, DS3, it's a PureTech engine. We know the horror stories of wet belts, etc., and things like that. The only thing is today we've come and it's got a couple of faults which are relating to engine management, engine run more than oil pressure. The faults are to do with the catalyst, but there's a little bit of information on these. So one of the things is it comes up and it says that the catalyst performance or the catalyst, but there's a TSB which says for a check for any cracking, and it's I forget the name of the term. It's gone. I've lost it. But there is something about the either the catalyst cracking or the catalyst stop working, which is either or. So we'll probably smoke test that one, see if there's any leaks on the exhaust side of it, and then move on from there. So yeah, but it's a bit of a trick one. The worry is that the customer did report about oil pressure on it, which, like I say, I hope it's not because they are prone to wet belt problems. Would have been the PureTech engine used throughout the the Citroen, Peugeot, Ford range, etc. We've seen all these. So yeah, we need a little bit more work on that one. Other than that, I think that's everything in it. I think I'm trying to think there's anything else. No, the rest of it we know what we've talked about in the past. I don't know if I mentioned it yesterday, but the Ranger. So that one is limp mode. It's also, if you remember that one, it's the one that we had a look at a couple of weeks ago. These things, I mean, Ford Rangers, I'm sorry to say, but they're the bane of our life. So we health checked it, MOT'd it, did some repairs for WeBuy who sold the car, but the customers only had a short period of time and it's in limp mode. Also there's a possibility it might be losing coolant as well. Now they are prone to various different things, head gaskets, e-jaws, etc. So however, we need to get stuck with that, you know. I just hope it isn't anything major, because everybody knows themselves that works on them. They're not the easiest things, and you know, everything's time consuming on them. Have I missed anything, Ed? I think that's everything.
No, that's it.
Yeah, I think that's the lot. So I think that's the lot for the day. Is there anything else?
No,
there's not. So yeah, again, thank you for watching, everybody. We'll hope to see you again tomorrow. Remember, like, subscribe. Yeah, okay. So as I say, 10,000 subscribers now done. We've already done that. So remember, nice little car coming somebody's way. But the only way of getting to that is by all you people taking the time to watch us. So thank you for that. Keep on, you know, everybody new that wants. Hopefully you're enjoying it. Please just, you know, hit the like button, smash the subscribe button. Let's see if we can get a few more. And you never know, if we get a few more, we might look to put something else on after that. You know, which of course we'll absolutely do. Okay, all right. So I'm going to say goodbye for now. Are you here tomorrow, Ed?
Yes.
Yeah, it's here tomorrow. So obviously we've got the man behind with a plan. And, I hope his cam works better than mine and Marv's been over the last few days. It's gone very quiet. I'm sure it is. Yeah. Thanks everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Right. Friday, crikey, Friday already. Friday, you know. Can I take that off and turn around and show everybody how tired of you? Because I must say you look very, very sporty today, Ed. Okay, alright. So this is Ed. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Peace.
Yeah. Very, very good. Very nice. Yeah. Any ladies or gentlemen that leave a number in the comments, and I'm sure we'll hook you up with that. Yeah. I bet you edited that bit out, don't you? Huh?
No.
Right, what would they? Right, so big on today. What we've got in the, so we'll not do the insignia because we know what's happening with that. Other than to say we're still having trouble starting it. But just probably one of the reasons is that because what we're thinking with that is that it's possibly because the hydraulic followers might need filling up. Because when they snap the when everything goes, and it snaps the followers, but we put sorry, it's not the followers. We also put the lifters in as well, which is the hydraulic side of it. They can be a bit tricky to fill, so it'll still. We tried to start again last night, but it still won't start. We might have to take them out, sometimes soak them oil, which we hope to do because that's a monolith task in itself. Feeling that sometimes might have to try and tow start it, yeah, but struggling with that one a little bit, but we'll get it sorted. Yeah. This one is a nice little Fiat FL, bonny little thing this, in for routine service. So these ones are oil change and it gets an oil inspection service every 2 years. It's 2 years old, so it's getting that today. But it really wants, I think it's done 22,000 miles, really, really good condition. So that one is just a routine service, and that one will be good to go. Get rid of the customer. Slide wardrobe company, and you see a couple of these every now and again. We do all the MOTs for them, so that'll be getting MOT today. As soon as Josh finished that one, that'll be getting done afterwards. And then obviously we'll see what it needs. Probably needs a couple of different pieces, but you never know. You know, it's hard to gauge something. Very, very nice. So this is a Fiat Ducato Professional. So it's the conversion, it's the camper conversion. It's a very, very nice car, very, very van, sorry, this one. Again, in for its routine service today. Nice car. So Callum's just finishing off putting the pollen filter inside there. They're a bit tricky on these because the pollen filter you have to drop pretty much most of the bottom of the dashboard off. So, nice conversion this one. Yeah. I'm not going to show you in the back because obviously you don't want to show the customer's personal belongings, but it is a nice van. Michael's just gone out on road test. I think we saw it a couple of times in the car park. So that's the Hamlet Taxis one. That's had the video I fitted this morning. It's going out on road test. We'll check it for leaks, etc. Make sure it's okay. do a little check, some tray back onto it, and that'll be good to go as well. Yeah, that one's sorted. Workshop's a little bit of a mess, unfortunately, at the minute, but you know, we are a little bit thin on the ground with staff for holidays. It often happens this time of the year. I think probably from May all the way through to September time, you'd have a full complement of staff, because that's obviously, you know, kids off and things like that, and that's where people take holidays. So it is a little messy, but you know, just goes to show that, you know, having that time to tidy up, so that's good. Yeah, it's keeping us busy. Astro we know about, that's just wanting further stripping. That'll probably get done. We're hoping to get it done before the weekend, but again, the workload and the health things have transpired. That'll probably get the sum off on Tuesday now, I think. I'm going to try and put that in the diary. I'm not here next week, so I'll try and load the diary up, which will help Andy, who's off this week, for to see what's going on next week, and then he'll be able to factor in. But we need to get the sum off that, just to get some progress on it, so we'll know what it needs, gets parts sorted. The Porsche, I don't know if I showed you yesterday, so this one was suffering from misfire on cylinder 4. So we come to, and again with misfire on cylinder 4, the obvious thing to do first was to start with the spark plugs. But when we come to do the spark plugs on it yesterday, as you can see the coils there. Now, we put an engine in one a while ago, and that had suffered very, very similar. So as you can see there, the coil packs are all cracked. That's just one of them. They're all very, very similar, but as well as that, you can see that, you know, they are, you know, you can see that. So we've priced the coils packs up, and we're going to go to the customer with the option to say, look, that, I mean, that realistically, that could be affecting the misfire rather than the spark plugs. So before we put it all back together, we're going to go to the customer and say, look, at this point, it could probably do with coil packs anyway. If the customer wants to have them fitted before we put it back together. It's no extra labour, of course, but you know, we'd rather give them the customer the option now before we put it back together, and it's still be misfire and have to take it apart again, of course. So that's what's happening with that one. Tried bringing them this morning. We'll try and get back in touch with them. Ranger, yeah. Ranger well tracked in from the Protector Group. This one's got a coolant leak, so it needs to go through the workshop. We'll have to see where the coolant leak comes from, pressure test it, and see where it's leaking from. We'll try and get that one done next, simply because we need to find out what it is in case we need our parts for it, etc. Again, because we're getting tight on time because it's the bank holiday weekend, and we're going to run out of time to get parts, etc., and get vehicles turned around and back on the road quickly. Like all garages, it can be a little bit stressful when we've got a short week next week, and then again, you know, it is the weekend. And of course, you know, a lot of people want their vehicles for bank holiday weekend, you know, for going away, they'll have things planned with the kids or themselves or whatever it may be. We'll start over here, Ed. Porsche's been through the workshop this morning, MOT test, couple of advisories, straightforward routine. So it's a clean car, that one. He did ask for to have a look at a vibration underneath. I think there's a couple of loose heat shields on the exhaust, but Josh has done his best to try and fix them up. Again, with that one, you haven't got a great deal of choice either. Try and secure the heat shields or wherever you can, fabricate something, or it'll need a new one on. We'll, again, it is ready to go regardless of that, because it has passed the MOT test. So that one's okay. So that's the Porsche there. Bullet Mustang, yeah, you've seen that one before now, a couple of videos. I know you've seen that one a few months ago with Marvin Emerson funded. Lovely car, that's very, very nice car. Yeah, lovely. Again, a nice car here, Range Rover Vauxhall, routine service. So again, the customer thankfully has seen a little bit of this and a little bit of our reviews, and that's where this has come off the back of. So yeah, thank you to him for that. But again, routine service, that one, still to go through the workshop. But yeah, nice. I like them Vogues. Yeah, the Vogues are really nice, big car. Nice colour as well. Nice colour combination with the interior. Nice, yeah. Floor tech. Might have seen this one a couple of weeks ago. So when we do a procedure, if you like, or we've got a system called Power Clean. So Power Clean is a machine. It's done through Fortia. Now, anybody that deals with like the garage industry or has a little bit about cars, E43 are quite renowned in the UK for fuel treatments, oil treatments, various different things. There's a lot of things that they do. One of the things that they do is what you call a power clean. So I don't know if I mentioned before, but with a power clean, what we do is it's a two-stage system. We put a clean through it, then we put a flush through it, and what that does is it cleans the DPF filter, and then it flushes out. We regenerate it afterwards, and it works. It can be sometimes that because what we look for is ideally you want the DPF filter afterwards to be about 15% full or lower. Obviously the lower the better, you'll never get down to zero because it is used particle filter. But sometimes what happens is we always say to customers that if the car's not run right, it can be afterwards the power clean, it might affect the run of the car slightly, like hesitations, but that's just a natural effect of the power clean treatment. But this one's just got a couple of hesitations, so we'll offer the customer free of charge, of course, bring it back to there. We're going to force regenerate the system again, just to give it a once over, just to make sure that, and obviously make sure it's right. Of course, like I say, I will say to people is that we want to minimise return to workshop, but sometimes it happens. So with this one, it has done. It's not very often. I mean, we've done a lot of these power cleans now. We do probably 1-2 a week because it is a good alternative to have. Because other than that, if you can't clean it, you're putting a new DPF filter on it, which can be expensive. But what can happen sometimes is that afterwards we make a little bit of an adverse effect of the power clean, or it might not wait. And we do offer, to bring it back free of charge. For just trying again, so we'll do that with this one today, and then hopefully that'll stop that. BMW non-start. It is coming up with a couple of faults relating to the steering lock. However, there's a technical service bulletin which says that what you can try to see if it'll start is what you can do is you can reset the counters on the steering lock on them. That is one thing to try. That hasn't worked, but there is a couple of other fault codes in there. And when you look at the technical services bulletin, one thing we've done, I think we did a black one and a grey one, and they break the earth from the gearbox. So we're going to have to look a little bit in a different direction with that one. We think it's possibly got a little bit more to it than what we originally thought. But of course, a little bit more time in the diary for that, and freeing up around for to get it on. But that needs some more work doing that. Needs some more investigatory work on it. Again, another Ford Ranger, nice car this. Again, customer of ours. That's his plate there. He runs his company called Retro. Does a lot of stuff with the aluminium campers and things like that. If anybody's ever looking for stuff, I forget the name, but I wish I could remember. But he's got a website, but he does like the camper conversions, lots of different stuff. I mean, the stuff he does is fantastic. But it's Retro something. I can't remember the full name of it. But have a look at his stuff. It's really good. That's
number plate.
Yeah, that's the plate, Retro.
No, the website.
Is that on the? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there it is there. Yeah, Retro replicas. But it is a little bit diverse, a little bit different, but really is good stuff. Yeah, Retro replicas. Yeah, well, that one. Did we mention the Transit? Or was the Transit here last night? I can't remember if it was there.
Yeah, it was there.
Yeah, we are with that one. Yeah, so that's got a clutch fault on it. Needs a clutch in that. This is the one we mentioned yesterday, so we know what's happening with that. It has got a coolant leak. We've identified where that's come from now. Just waiting for costings, etc. And then we'll go to the customer. It's got an RAC warranty on as well, so hopefully we can help them out by getting it covered on the RAC warranty for the customer. The stuff along the back we all know about, so it's not worth going over that, because that one's ready to collect, that one's waiting to go through the workshop, etc, etc. BMW in for a service today. Regular customer of ours, so it'll get serviced today. There's a couple of things to look at as well from the advisories from the MOT when it was last in. The back shock has had a bit of a leak, and I think it's the bottom arms got a little bit of movement in them. Multi-link suspension on these, we've mentioned a couple of times, the front arms, it's what they call the front arms. they get a little bit of play on them, so we'll just recheck that for the customer, and if they need doing that, we'll go back and see which way he wants to go from that. The Insignia Estate touring here, so it's the boot's not opening. Now, what you get on a lot of vehicles now is, because it's all done through like body control modules, etc., and things like that. A few years ago, it was like a switch. You know, it was like a more sturdy handle. The problem is now is that what you have is it's a it's a lighter mechanism, and the way it operates is just a micro switch in there. And normally, and it is on this one, 9 times out of 10, what happens is, because of just the rubber there, but as you can see, that it literally is just a rubber press head. And when you press that, it operates the micro switch. The micro switch then gives a signal to the body control module, and the micro switch doesn't open it, the body control module does that. That fires the latch. But again, sometimes what happens is that there's a few reasons for it. A lot of people they'll get a hold of the micro switch and they'll pull it up with that, or it's a 65 registration car. It could just be wear and tear, but the micro switch is collapsed in there, so that needs new handle on. I think it's a fairly common thing on these Insignias when you look on the internet. Yeah, so that needs a micro switch in. Just waiting for price and availability to come back on that. The little DS3 we talked about yesterday, we've got a little bit of good news on that. So the customer was worried about oil pressure, and also I think I mentioned yesterday it had a fault code relating to the catalyst. We've done the checks on it, that's fine. Okay, so it has come back fine. We reset that and the fault isn't returned. The oil pressure problem was because, and this is where that was the good news side of it. The not so good news is that it's starting to use a little bit of oil. We serviced this vehicle about 6,000 miles ago. It takes about 3.3 litres of oil when you drain and refill it on the service. When we came to it yesterday, I think we need to put 2.3 litres of oil in. So it's either losing a bit, which it's not because it's dry underneath, or it's starting to use a little bit. Now again, pure tech engines, they do suffer a little bit of oil consumption. So again, we identified in the health check about the alternator belt and the tyre. So today we've already topped the oil up, put the alternator belt on it, or the ancillary belt, put a tyre on it, and then we'll give the customer back and we'll get them back in about 1,000 miles. A lot of oil consumption is measured over 1,000 miles. So for example, a diesel, it used to be, it's a lot better now as technology goes on, but the diesel, you normally within 1,000 miles use about 0.8 of a litre of oil. Petrols are a little bit more, or a little bit different. But what we'll do with that is we'll give the customer back, we'll put a note in our diary to contact them and get them back 1,000 miles, we'll dip the oil again, and then we'll see where it is. Because if it's starting to be a consumption problem, then obviously the customer's got a decision to make then, because it'll only get worse, it'll only get worse. Is that what to do with the car after that, but that's better than what we thought, so that's good news. The Defender, it's had the new seals on here. Paul's put these on this morning, so they're on now. You can see the white blades and whatever. You've got a foam insert in behind here. And when he's took them off, the foam insert hasn't bonded properly. Again, just down to age, the bondings give way. So there's a new type of seal which we've put on. He's just finishing off his way to collect a St John's ambulance van, and then when he comes back, he'll get them sorted, and then that one will be ready to water test again, and hopefully, fingers crossed, after the 999 thing that we found on it, that might make it watertight. I certainly hope it does. Yeah. So again, progress for that one. Hopefully in the final throes of finishing it off. BMW Touring, again regular customer of ours. This one's got an AdBlue fault on it. So we rely on them massively. I think I said before, as a technical services bulletin which says that sometimes what can happen is so that the way the sensor in the AdBlue tank can measure the water level. It needs to have a certain amount of, it needs not to be full. So what the technical servicing bulletin says is that drain 3.5 litres out and then just put a certain level in. If that doesn't fix it, then the possibility it is probably the pump. and it is on that one. Yeah, so we'll have to price that one up for a pump, which I think will be dealer only and probably an expensive item. But yeah, that one's in progress. AdBlue fault in the display. We're hoping sometimes what you can do is you can top the AdBlue up, or it might go a little bit out of sync the way the customer's been topping them up. We were hoping that may be the case on that one, but it isn't. It's got a fault on it, so that one will be sorted. MOT test for a company around the corner. We do all the MOTs for them, so that's just nothing to do with us really, other than it's been in for a trade MOT. That one, that's all we do on them. Parker van, that one there is in for lack of power, oil consumption, and it's a general check over as well. Again, that one still goes through the workshop, so we haven't got any news or progress on that one. And the other one on the other side there's the Ranger, which we talk about a lot. That's in the diary for next week. Yeah, that'll get started next week. So that is on a lovely sunny, what time is it? What time is it?
It's 12:30.
12:30, crikey. Bloody hell. Yeah, on a lovely sunny afternoon in Gateshead Town and Weir. The weather up here is absolutely terrific. I hope everybody, like what I saw there, like I say, if anybody wants a date with them, just leave their telephone number in the messages. Yeah, okay, I'm sure it'll be up for that. He's looking at me now. I'm glad to see he can't see what he's doing behind the camera. It is red, that's rude.
Why?
There's no need for that. Yeah. No, come on, it. Yeah, I'm trying to do you a favour here. Crikey,
okay, go on then.
Yeah. Anyway, no, thank you. Thank you everybody for watching. Like I say, sorry you've had to put me with this week. I hope Marv's having a great time in America. Yeah, you'll see him again next week. Just the usual, yeah. Keep up them likes, subscribes, smashing at the like button. You know, really appreciate everybody. That's what makes us all worthwhile. You know, and thank you for all the great feedback. We'll keep on reading your comments. Some great comments there. As regards to the comments, we do read them. And what we will try and do, if there's anything in there that we can pick out of it, you know, is anything we can relate to, because I know a lot of people ask questions on the stuff we do, for information, but we'll only do the information when it's relevant, or what we can, you know, ask what you're asking for. So just bear in mind, it's not that we're ignoring the comments or not reading them, it's just, you know, we'll know if there's any content we can put into it, obviously we'll relate to that. So, you know, thank you for all the comments. Have a great bank holiday weekend, everybody. I'll not see you next week because I'm off to Whitby in York with my lovely missus. So I'll see you the week after. But yeah, like I say, thank you again for everybody watching. Like, subscribe, hit that like button. Yeah, thanks again, everybody. See you next time.